We're in Georgia, and it's snowing. It stinks. Welcome to Atlanta. I'm here at Fuller Moto to meet up with the guys from Motus Motorcycles. They're a small bike company from Georgia making some insane bikes. But first, let's check out Brian Fuller's shop for a second because he's working on some super wild stuff.
I'm Steve West. I'm Silver Piston. That's Sean McDonald. He's the man. Everybody knows it, including Mark Boucher. Got my computer area. I have absolutely no desire to ever work at a desk again, so that's my chair, so I'm not tempted to sit too long.
That's Steve West. His jewelry company, Silver Piston, is run out of the shop as well. As you can see, he's quite a character, but his work is absolutely beautiful, and you should totally check out his stuff as well. Okay, so we're here in Atlanta. I've wanted to ride the Motos for years, but I just haven't had the time to do it justice until now when I was finally able to come out and ride on their home turf. The base Motus, the MST, is an American V4 sport tour. It makes about 165 horsepower and is fit with some of the nicest components money can buy. They also make a bike called the MSTR, which is the up-spec version. That bike puts down 180 horsepower and gets all the bells and whistles. I'm going to get to ride both, as well as hopefully a prototype for what's coming up next. Sadly, I got my wired lav mic just in time for this trip, and I recorded a ton of audio while riding, but I'm an idiot, and I didn't read all the directions, so I lost all of my onboard audio. Which means you guys are pretty much left with the conversation I had with these guys in the evening after our first day of riding, and a bunch of riding footage to tide you over until I can go back and make a proper film.
I mean, I think when you hear American power sport tour, you think Diablo or something. You guys started this 10 years ago now.
10 years.
Yeah. Decided you want to start a company, somehow landed on motorcycles and not barbecue.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? What was the first thing where you were like, this is it? What were the characteristics that you were first like?
Well, we thought we would think of the most challenging, most complicated, essentially impossible things to do, and then go for it. It makes me tired just thinking about it.
But were you looking at a specific model and saying like, fuck those guys, we can do it better? Or were you saying like, why has nobody put a massive V4 in a sports tour? Like what was when you start a company, you think like, here is the problem, or here's the hole that exists, and here's how I want to fill it. 2008, the world is collapsing.
Yeah.
You guys are like, no, we're going to start the hardest thing you could do, a bike brand. It's going to cost way too much money. It's going to end up costing twice as much money as you think it's going to cost.
Once we knew we were going to create a bike, and it was going to take that level of effort and do all that stuff, then we had to think about, well, what kind of a bike is it going to be, and what's going to be most successful for us to do.
What about them? I mean, was it just that they'd been done so much and done poorly, or did you just know that inherently it wasn't a good recipe?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I just thought there could be something more, so that's where the V4 was developed from. It was still kind of raunchy and gritty and two-valve, but modern in that it's liquid cooled and but doesn't lose that American feel at all.
Okay, some quick riding impressions. So the motor, I mean, it's impressive. What more is there to say? It's a massive V4, it makes great power, it's super tractable, but what's truly impressive is the handling. Most sport touring bikes are meant to, they're touring bikes that are just faster, that have some ability off-road. This bike is a proper sport bike. It's meant to ride windy roads, and it just also comes with the capability to carry your stuff with you. It's truly impressive.
But selfishly, we live in Birmingham, and we like to ride up here, to North Georgia, North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee. But that's where our favorite roads are.
So
The bike had to perform.
You built the bike for where you wanted to ride. You built the bikes for yourselves.
Yeah.
It really does fit somewhere between like almost like the Hyper Motard and the Multistrada. Like it really does. I mean, it has like a really and not necessarily that, I mean, people are going to look at photos of this or to see video, they're going to go like you're nuts. But when you ride it, the way, the nimbleness, the handling, the way that it makes power, the way that it gets up and goes, the way that it stops, are not the ways that big sport touring bikes of today really move.
It would have been, if there was a bike on the market that like totally satisfied us,
It's cheaper than starting a company.
it would it would have been way easier.
You're essentially doing the impossible, is what you're
It
doing.
feels impossible.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just a motor, because we also built a gearbox. And
Right.
the gearbox is, damn near as complicated and challenging to design, engineer, test, and put into production as the engine is.
Yeah,
It doesn't really get spoken
We
about.
high-fived when we had the motor part done. Like, what?
Yeah.
We need a gearbox.
I expected the rolling green hills. I expected the lush forest. I did not expect the snow.
That last stretch.
Georgia is beautiful and fucking freezing. Now that I can feel my fingers, things are great. The roads are great. The bike is super fun. Well, if God is good, they will bring soup soon.
That's exactly right.
There was a stretch I thought I was dying.
Your lips are still blue. I really gotta get a heated vest with an arrow stitch. I could have done so many things differently.
I have a really nice heated vest.
The bike had a lot of character, but it wasn't. But I didn't feel like it was at the detriment of performance or of power, which was really cool.
There's plenty of machines that are out there that you can buy that are technically perfect, but that doesn't mean they wake you up on Saturday morning saying, let's go, right? And that's kind of, the people that buy our bikes, that's what they're saying. They make them feel something. They feel alive when they ride them, right? We said from the very beginning, we'll never cut corners.
Right.
We'll never spare any expense that would be a detriment to the ride quality of the bike.
Sure.
Build the best freaking bike you can. And certain riders will say, oh, hell yes, that's exactly what I'm looking
Yeah,
for.
we didn't design it to a price point.
Right.
Well,
Well, that's what's cool is
make
that,
a $12,000 bike. I
Right.
wouldn't design the $12,000 bike.
and the guy who
We weren't trying
says
to do that.
your bike is too expensive, the answer is you're right. For you, it's too expensive.
Right.
That's that guy over there is perfect
Right.
because he has the means, and we built the thing that makes him fall in love with this thing that we love.
That's right.
Your guys isn't expensive to be exclusive. It's not expensive to be fancy or to we talked about earlier to show off or make a statement. It's what it costs to build a thing that you think people are gonna love and that you love.
Well, the chassis, which you talked about, is like, that's all chromoly. It's 4130 chromoly. So an easy place to cut corners for us would be make it in, thick wall, low carbon DOM tubing. But instead of being 52 pounds for the main frame, the subframe, and the swing arm, 52, it would have been 88 or 95 or whatever the number would be, and it wouldn't have anywhere near the strength.
Right.
Like, don't cut a corner there. Make the chassis super rigid and super lightweight. Use the best stuff.
I couldn't be more pleased to be here, and it's been. I mean, the South is always. It's incredible. The people, this town, like it's just everything is always like it's so. I'm so enamored with things being here. It's cool to like experience this bike and the roads they were meant for, surrounded by the people. It's such a different feeling.
Well, the key is just going to be to have fun.
All right, with a full day of riding under our belts, I can safely say that the Motus truly surpassed my expectations. It's very much a product of love from two super obsessed dudes, and they've really delighted in all the small details. I was shocked at how small, light, and nimble the bike felt, and obviously the power it delivered. Getting to finally ride it in the place it was designed in and for was super special. But now we've got some sun poking out, which means that all that's left is to rip this thing back to Atlanta and hope to find some more barbecue and get back to California.